Be your MC at this media launch of the UWI Mona VM Group Distinguished Lecture Series. Ladies and gentlemen, we are met here today to launch one of Principal Williams's strategic initiative that he has articulated as part of his four-pillar strategic vision for the Mona campus. One of those pillars being thought leadership, the University of the West Indies Mona being a thought leader here in Jamaica. And within that context, we are launching our distinguished lecture series. Very, very happy to have on board Victoria Mutual, the VM Group, represented here today by Mr. Courtney Campbell, the CEO. Please give him a round of applause. Also from VMBS, Ms. Clover Moore, Assistant VP, Group Corporate Affairs and Communication. She claims that a big thing, but... And of course, on our side here at UWI Mona, we have Deputy Principal Dr. Paul Tamlin at the head table here. And believe it or not, our principal is looming somewhere in cyberspace, and he will soon appear, Professor Denzel Williams. We are happy to have our contingent of deans, senior managers, etc., at this very, very important launch. Just two words in terms of putting this thing in context. As I said, it's part of the principal's vision, and he certainly will speak to it when he comes to speak. But we really just want to reposition UWI Mona in the eyes of the public. We have been doing great work, great scholarship, great publications. But I think in recent times, in my own view, we have not been in the face of the public as much as we should. I remember as a high school student, I used to sacrifice my lunch money and buy a gleaner every day. Thought I would be a politician. And, but seriously, in every single field of human endeavor and every discipline, everything that would have arisen in the country, it was always a UWI person at the forefront with the commentary, with the analysis, and with the solutions. I know we are doing very great work here in research and so on, but we also have to demonstrate to the society that we are leading in scholarship, we are leading in strategic thinking, etc., etc. And I think it is appropriate that we have this initiative. Welcome, Principal. Those of you can see the Principal.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very good morning.
So ladies and gentlemen, that's the background, and I'm sure Principal will speak more to it. So this morning we have a very simple format of our program. We'll start with some opening remarks from Dr. Paul Tomlin, our Deputy Principal, and more importantly, for this particular purpose, he's the chair of the lecture series planning committee. Then we're going to have some remarks from Principal, and of course, our sponsor, our lead sponsor and the VM Group will come and bring good news, and then we'll have an exchange of documents to solidify this partnership. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Dr. Paul Tomlin, our Deputy Principal.
Thanks very much, Mr. Stanberry. As I about to say, I've grown accustomed to that. Thank you. Thank you, Registrar. Professor Denzel Williams, PVC and Principal of the Mona campus, members of the senior management team at Mona, at UWI Mona, Mr. Courtney Campbell, President and CEO, Victoria Mutual Group, Ms. Clover Moore, VP for Group Corporate Affairs, other members of the VM Group family, other distinguished guests, and members of the media. So it's my pleasure to to bring a few opening remarks on this occasion of the launch of the UWI Mona VM Group Distinguished Lecture Series. And I see it as a celebration this morning. It's a launch, but I think of it as a celebration. And from how I see it, there are two things we're celebrating this morning. When we think of university, and we go back historically, universities emerged really from the concept of the thinking of community. So the essence of university is a community of teachers, community of scholars that have come together to share knowledge, find new knowledge, and aim at development. And the University of the West Indies has been at this for, 7 decades plus. It's been a community engaging in scholarship and teaching for over 7 decades. And I think this UWI VM Group Distinguished Lecture Series, we can see it, and I would dare say we should see it, as a testimony and a celebration of the success of UWI Mona and UWI at large. Of course, UWI Mona, there's always a little bias, we know, to UWI Mona because we were the first child, right? First picnic, always kind of, Last picnic also have get attention. But the UWI Mona has been at this for years and successfully, I would say, building community, building scholarship, building teaching, building good practice. And it is really fitting to have a company of distinction, such as the VM Group, affiliating with us and partnering with us to celebrate good community of scholarship and teaching. So I think that's a celebration this morning as we launch. The second reason for celebration, when I think about it, is really surrounds partnership. We think of academic-industry partnership. We talked about that quite a bit. And in our strategic plan for UWI, we talk about alignment with industry. We talk about academic-industry partnership. And oftentimes when we think of partnership like this, we tend to think of things that would bring returns on commercialization of research knowledge, new products, realigning workforce, building better workforce capacity, and of course, things that will bring revenue. Academic-industry partnership also aimed at our revenue revolution in this phase of our strategic plan. This morning, as we partner with VM Group, we can find another reason beyond the commercialization of products and so on to have this collaboration, and that is the area of thought leadership. But I dare say that thought leadership in itself and disseminating new knowledge, the VM Group will help us to bring scholars to the university that will talk about their work, motivate others, bring discourse. Principal Williams will say a lot more about this when he speaks about his vision for this. But in all of that thought leadership process and getting the excitement about thinking, I dare say that down the road there's going to be a connection with the other products of academic-industry partnership. Because it often starts with a thought. Yeah? It starts with a thought. The research that you do, somebody was thinking somewhere, maybe having a cup of coffee and say, Jason, why don't we do this? Prof. Flame, what about this? We have a thought there. And so fertilizing and fermenting and building the energy around thought and partnership is critical for the academy. Someone once said that with rare exceptions, all of our most important achievements on this planet, with rare exceptions, all of our achievements on this planet will come from working with others. Or in one word, partnership. Yeah? And so this is absolutely a moment of celebration for us to have the VM Group say, we are willing to partner with you, UWI, with UWI Mona. We're coming to the table with you to engage in this discourse, in this exciting adventure of a distinguished lecture series. So I thank you for coming to celebrate with us, and I thank you on behalf of the campus and the UWI Mona. Mr. Campbell, thank you very much to VM Group for your willingness to be together, working together with us on this and the partnership. We look forward to the success of this series. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Paul. VMBS has certainly been in the business of partnership for a long time. They've certainly partnered with me to put a roof over my head. And this is not a plug for a low interest rate either. Ladies and gentlemen, our principal has come with a bang, and he has come with these ideas. Obviously, something that he has thought about for a long time. And just having assumed the seat, 17 days now, here we are, he has given birth to this new initiative. So Principal, it's a pleasure to hear from you this morning.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Registrar and all that who are gathered at our Mona campus. I think we have in the room our very distinguished members from the VM group. And Registrar, I think you have dated yourself by talking about VMBS, because they have moved further than the VMBS now, and they are now talking about the VM group. So you see the transition that has been taking place. But let me firstly recognize CEO Courtney Campbell and all the members of the VM team, Ms. Clover Moore, and all the other members. Let me also recognize our very distinguished members of the senior management team of the Mona campus, with our deputy principal there who just spoke, and all the other members of the senior management team, our deans, our registrar, and bursar, and everyone else. Let me also recognize and thank our partners in Media Land for joining us this morning for this wonderful celebration, as the deputy principal correctly themed it this morning, a celebration of partnership. I also thank to everyone who really made this possible today for us to come to this point where we can now sign an agreement with our partners to execute on a very important pillar of our vision for our Mona campus. Now, friends and colleagues, I'm not too sure if I can do justice speaking after our deputy principal, because I did not share notes with him. And I did not tell him what I'm going to speak about. But interestingly, having listened to him, I'm not too sure how much value I can add after that, but I will try to do justice just the very same. But let me, on a serious note, let me just say that I am very pleased this morning to be really celebrating and joining with our private sector partner in bringing, as the former Vice Chancellor Nettlefold used to say, bringing gown to town. And why is that so important? That is so important because you would appreciate that fine universities were not really designed or established to serve themselves. They were designed to really produce knowledge and use that knowledge to make the life of people much better. But that knowledge really cannot be cocooned into some private enterprise or some private places and into what they usually call the ivory tower. That's not what the knowledge is there for. The knowledge is there to bring to the public to make the lives of people much better. And so I am really pleased this morning that as part of our vision for the Mona campus, we have thought that about the issue of thought leadership and say, how can we make available to the wider public that knowledge that is created within the academe? And when we speak of the academe, we're not talking about just the local context, but the global academic community. How can we get the knowledge from that community to go to the people and let the people can make better decisions about their own lives, about how they participate in the life of the country, allow policymakers at both the industrial level and at the macro level to also use this knowledge to inform proper discourse and proper policies that can go forward. And so the general idea behind our series is to say, how are we going to now get the persons within the community who are actually engaged in scholarly scientific research to bring that knowledge to the public and to bring it to the public at a costless effort, basically. And so the thought leadership series that we're going to be launching today really is geared towards getting the best within the academic community, sharing the knowledge with our people so that our people can, at the end of the day, much more engage with the critical issues both at the national level, regional level, and also global level as well. I think these are very important critical engagements, because we're living in an age now where the idea of science and the idea of truth and the idea of rigorous interaction with information, data, and analyses, those things are under serious threat. And if we're going to make sure that we make informed decisions and make proper decisions about how we are going to shape society going forward, there is no escaping that we have to do some serious intellectual engagement with whatever information is out there. And we cannot allow propaganda to spread. And so what we are doing as a university is to make sure that we play our part in bringing this kind of analysis and this kind of interaction to our broader and wider community. So our thought leadership theme is going to be a very important part of how we proceed as a campus, and I dare say as a university going forward. We will be taking members of the community, both locally, regionally, and globally, and ask them to come to our campus and ask them to share their thoughts on the critical issues of the day and how they have interacted over, tremendous amount of research and data gathering, etc. How they have interacted with that data to make informed decision. I just as an aside, I was in a previous meeting just before I joined this one of a major publication that will be launched in Jamaica within the next 3 weeks or so, looking at the development of the Jamaican economy over the last 60 years. And the author reflected to me in that meeting a while ago to say that this is about 3 to 4 years of critical work that I've engaged with. And I'm saying that's the kind of things that you're going to actually recognize, that if we are going to make proper decisions, we have to get that kind of sacrifice, that we're engaging with the data, engaging with the work in order to bring about proper solutions going forward, and not just knee-jerk solution just to meet the urgency of now. So it is very important that when we conceptualize this series, we actually do so with the understanding of the power of the research community, of the scientific community in driving proper discourse, in driving intellectual thought about the issues that affect us, and not just responding to the urgency of now. So I'm very happy that our sponsors, the VM Group, has actually joined us in taking Gown to town. And it was not a very difficult decision when we spoke to President Campbell about this particular series. He was immediately drawn to it and immediately caught the vision that as a part of their corporate social responsibility, they're not just there to look at the bottom line in the traditional way that we normally measure the bottom line in corporate, but they're looking now at their triple bottom line, which is, yes, we have to make sure that we deal with the shareholders' wealth, etc. But part of shareholders' wealth is stakeholders' wealth as well, which is really bringing corporate social responsibility as a theme that is now bringing thought leadership to the community as well. And so we're very pleased that the VM Group, and they have had a long history and a long tradition of doing this, and we're so happy that they have now decided to partner with the UWI Mona campus. And this partnership, as you will hear from the president, is not only for a one-off event, but it's going to span at least half a decade that we're going to be doing these things for over the next half a decade in bringing these ideas to bear. And I'm pretty sure that when the president speaks, I'm sure that he will be so energized after the first half decade to actually go for another decade after that. Because as I said before, there's an African proverb that normally says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go in company. And today we are in good company with our corporate leaders, VM Group, to join us to bring Gone to town. So we're very pleased and very happy for our engagement with our corporate brothers and sisters, with the VM Group taking the lead on this particular initiative. So President Campbell, thank you so much for your generosity, you and your entire team at the VM Group. We really look forward to ensuring that these lectures that we are having will actually add value to not just the corporate social responsibility arm of VM, but also to the wider Jamaican public and the regional public as well. We also want to just say a very big thank you again to our deputy principal, who is taking on the leadership in terms of guiding the team in doing this particular series as well as we go forward. And later on, you will hear a little bit more when we get into the question and answer section about the very distinguished lecturer that we have for our first lecture, which is within about another 2 or 3 weeks or so. But this is going to be a very thought-provoking lecture about our own development as a region, as a country, and also in the global south as well. And we will be interacting with the thought leader in that particular area to bring us new knowledge about how our development has been progressing over the last 500 years or so as economies in the South, but also importantly, how we can actually escape the trap that we have now found ourselves in as economies in the South, and how we are going to make sure that we use the lessons that are learned from economies that had similar experience to us and have now escaped the trap that we find ourselves in. So it is going to be an interesting lecture. It is going to be a very distinguished evening, and we're very happy to again that our partners are willing to come on board to bring our lecturers to this particular forum. What I will say in closing as well is that the events of these series will also try to span time immemorial by ensuring that we codify the presentations that are given in this series, that they go beyond just the particular day or the particular week of the event, and we can actually return to them in years to come to look at the lessons that are learned and to ensure that we memorialize the series as well. So we will be looking at how we document the presentations that are given, but importantly, the presentations will also be very critical to go to the right parties or go to the right partners or stakeholders. So we will be making sure that from these lectures, we're able to now disaggregate those things that have immediate implications, Courtney, for policy at the macro level and implications for policy at the enterprise level as well. And we want to disseminate those kinds of information and get them into the right partners as well. So it's an exciting time that is going to be for our campus. It's an exciting time for the academic community, and we're going to see real good things coming out of this series. And I'm pretty sure that you and the VM Group will be also very pleased that this is going to be adding towards your own corporate social responsibility and your own profile as a group in supporting academic industry partnerships. So colleagues, I really look forward to the very distinguished launch of this series. I look forward to the engagement that we will be having over the coming years. I look forward to the speakers. I look forward to ensuring that what we're doing here as a university at the macro level will be complementing what is happening at the faculty level and at the departmental level, because those of us in the academe, we know that while we have macro initiative at the institutional level, at the level of the faculty and the departments, there are also complementary initiatives that are going on, and we'll do the very same thing as we're doing in various portfolio areas as well. So we want to complement those with the broad macro initiatives to make sure, as our registrar indicated in earlier days, that people recognize the value of the work that we are doing as a university. Because make no mistake about it, we are doing tremendous work. And people normally ask, what is the value of the UWI? Well, if you just look in the room that you're in right now, the value of the UWI is in the Courtney Campbell, is in the Clover Moore, is in the Deputy Principal Paul. That's really what it is. I will always say to people, if you think about the UWI and think about the Jamaican economy, if you can name me 10 businesses in Jamaica that do not have a graduate from the UWI, then we will close our doors in the next day. The fact is that we have provided the human capital that is now supporting the growth and development of the region, of the country, and beyond. And that is our value, because we are in the business of human capital development. That's what the academy is about. We are not in the business of doing mortgage or selling bread or selling patties. We're in the business of human capital development. And therefore, whatever we do must be able to facilitate the human capital that is now going to be fit for purpose for the 21st century. So that's the value of the UWI. So we don't need to question what is the UWI value anymore, but just look right around us and we'll see it every day. And this is now going to actually enhance and embellish what we have been doing as value creation for our society and our economy. So colleagues, I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about the partnership. I'm very excited for our university and where we're going. I thank my colleagues at the university for catching the vision so early in the day and embracing this vision as well. And we look for great things to come. So have a really, really good ceremony. And I hope that by the time we come for the distinguished lecture, President Campbell and colleagues, we will actually be even more inspired to hear our distinguished speakers bringing gown to town. Thank you so much, Registrar and colleagues. Thank you.
Thanks again, Principal, for outlining the vision. And at this time, we're going to hear from our sponsor, Mr. Courtney Campbell, President and CEO of the VM Group. Please welcome him.
Chairman, Dr. Donovan Stanbury, Campus Registrar, Principal, Professor Denzel Williams, and you can hear from his pitch why he was one of the youngest professors of business, international business probably in the world, right? Because he so seamlessly engaged the private sector or his donors in this endeavor. Deputy Principal, Dr. Tomlin Paul, and all the members of the university's management team, and of course, my own very, very committed VM team, Ms. Clover Moore, AVP, Corporate Affairs and Communications, Mr. Robert Lala, Manager in Corporate Affairs and Communications, and Dennis. Now, I have to tell the UWI Mona team, Professor Williams indicated that I immediately bought into the vision, and I was so excited about being able to partner with you on this, in this distinguished lecture series. But I have to tell you that my team, Clover and Robert in particular, were even more excited and more committed to this because, you know, in a sense, I'm not surprised because the VM team were a very purposeful team. And the purpose doesn't stop with the CEO. It is really shared by all the leaders of the business. And that is why, you know, Clover, Robert, and Denise are even more excited than I am. Although, you know, I find that difficult to believe, but it is true. So good morning, friends. I'm really pleased today to share with you as we officially launch the UWI Mona VM Group Distinguished Lecture Series, which aims to make a meaningful contribution not just to national and regional discourse, but to the actual transformations that we all hope to see. Transformations of lives, of industries, of nations in the Caribbean and beyond. You know, I salute your commitment, Professor Williams and university leadership. I salute your commitment to thought leadership. If we think about it, the knowledge industry is a powerful driver of change. Think about the impact that the ICT that growth in ICT is playing on global economy. The US, Asia, Europe, even our region. But we have to then go below that to recognize that there's no Silicon Valley without Stanford University. That's the root of that success. So we salute your commitment to thought leadership, and we salute the excellent work that the UWI-Mona campus has done for over 7 decades across many disciplines. And I'm a proud UWI graduate. And may I, and I think my education was buttressed by the fact that every night I slept at Chancellor Hall. But this partnership between the UWI-Mona campus and the VM Group reflects the kind of collaboration between academia and industry experts that is needed to both interrogate the status quo and devise real-world improvements that will lead to better outcomes across sectors, borders, and populations. The UWI-Mona campus, as part of its transformation journey, is energizing its public advocacy and thought leadership to advance social progress. And we commend this effort and are pleased to help power this important movement. Our commitment is to support this distinguished lecture series for, as Professor Williams said, 5 years, or the first 5 years. We hope that these lectures will be well supported, and we hope further that learning will take place, that people will be engaged, and we will all walk away with some ideas of what we can do differently to take our region to the next level. So in that vein, I'd say to us, what is your vision for Jamaica? What is your vision for the region? As we sit and listen to these lectures, starting with the first lecture, let us open our minds. Let us not think limits. And as Nelson Mandela said, they always say it's impossible until it's done. And that's the spirit with which we should come to those lectures. There's great synergy between the UWI-Mona campus and the VM Group, which, as you may know, is also embarked on a transformation journey. Earlier this year, we effected a growth-focused restructure of the organization, and just prior to that, we transformed the VM brand. And so thank you, Registrar, for your business. And you know his house is wonderful, and it's very comfortable if you need a comfortable home like that, right? Please speak with VM. But we transformed the VM Group to VM brand, or VMBS brand to the VM brand, and with a whole new look and energy that is captured in our new tagline, transform your everyday. We see our role as being more than providers of products and services, but as partners to the people we serve, with a duty to help them achieve financial empowerment and consequently more fulfilling lives. At VM, we describe ourselves as a learning organization because we understand the value of continuous learning and continuous improvement. We have seen the positive effects of this within our business and in the lives of our members and clients with whom we routinely engage with thoughtfully designed financial education initiatives. Knowledge transforms lives and nations. And this is why we are so pleased to partner on this important series to help showcase and leverage the extensive knowledge that resides within corporate Jamaica, within the UWI-Mona campus, and the wider academic community, all with a view to helping to create a better tomorrow for all of us. So congratulations for this vision, Professor Williams, new principal. We eagerly look forward to this series and its outcomes. Thank you too to the UWI Mona campus team and to my team at the VM Group who have made this a reality in a very short period of time. Today, together, we launch a great initiative, and with God's grace, an ultimately life-changing intervention for our region. Thank you very much.
Thanks much, Mr. Campbell. He didn't quite say how much money is involved, but it's millions, so give him $1 million applause, please. And ladies and gentlemen, to demonstrate that this is not just talk, we're going to invite back CEO Campbell to present to our Deputy Principal, who will accept on behalf of UWI Mona a letter of commitment, which I'm sure the bursar will be very interested in with respect to the sponsorship and funding. I'm going to borrow the principal term for half a decade of distinguished lectures. So there's going to be a signing and then an exchange of these letters of intention. Can just exchange here? Oh, there's that. You're good enough? Okay.
Bringing in some enhancement.
Shake again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause, please. In my church, sing the song, "'Tis done, the great transaction done." So before we conclude, we have a few questions which are important because it shows that we are already generating interest in the lecture series. So the first question, will the lecture series include young thought leaders? I'm sure I can answer on behalf of the principal, definitely yes. How will the public be able to participate? Just to say that our first lecture will be on the 13th, right, of September. And the principal gave a little preview of what the lecture will be about. But the deputy principal is leading a committee to plan all aspects of the series, and I'm sure before long, deputy principal, he will articulate publicly some guidelines in terms of how people are engaged and how the public can become involved. So please listen out for that. And finally, we have another question. Will the presenters be limited to local and regional researchers? And the principal answered that question that the academe, as he called it, is not just limited to the precincts of this university, but certainly the region and the world. We are going to bring the best, the latest, the most current and topical and distinguished people who lead these fields of endeavors right here to UWI Mona. So get excited now. Sure, look excited. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really thankful today for all of you, for principal who conceptualized this, for VMBS, for VM Group rather, which bought into the vision, and for all our internal stakeholders, our deans, our head of department, senior management, etc., who have bought into the vision. And of course, these things will mean nothing without our students. And I'm sure there will be a substantial role for our students to participate and learn and contribute to knowledge creation and sharing through this series. So thank you very much. We know Friday morning, Courtney, is an important morning. And so we will end here and hope to see you all on the 13th. And the first lecture will be appropriately promoted very intensely over the next couple of days, and we look forward to re-engage with Jamaica with the first lecture. Thanks you all very much for coming.